you have a shared marital identity. The man is going to be the one who makes the decision when it comes to polygyny. You may talk about it, discuss it, which is best practice. We encourage you to do so before you are ever married. If it's ever on your mind. Now, here's the challenge. When you're a single man, especially if you're a young single man, never been married, you're not thinking about it at all. You want to get solid with one. You have no idea how that's going to be. I want to talk about something though that's dealing with our marital relationships. All right, it's not specific to polygyny, but it's very, very important to understand, especially monogamy. Before you get married, it's very important to understand, especially for women, because women are the ones that tend to lose themselves when they don't understand this principle. And I haven't seen it being taught anywhere. This is something I had to discover along with my personal development journey. For what I'm talking about right now, for example, is a monogamous relationship. And if you want to see the screen of the diagram that's up, again, go over to our YouTube channel, which is Outstanding Personal Relationships. We're streaming live right now. So for those of you who do see it, you see there's 3 circles, right? Or 3 spheres is what I call them. There's a sphere, if they were by themselves, like when I go into class and I go into detail with this, you have the man, you had a woman, right? They're solo, meaning totally single. So they have their own identities, likes, dislikes, beliefs, pains, triumphs, trials, tragedies that have occurred in their lives, right? If you live long enough. So with that being said, that just means we're human. But when you get married, what is this? When you're married though, and you join in a union, you take this woman, this man, these 2 spheres, and they kind of come together, kind of kissing, if you will. But they don't just become one. And I know people think, oh, when you're married, you become one. No, you don't. No, you don't. Not at all. You don't create just one entity. I know people believe weird stuff. And I used to believe, you could add 1 + 1 + 1 is 1 and all that. No, that's not how it operates. You have the man here. You have the woman. Own individual identities. They get married. Then they create a 3rd sphere. And if you see this sphere, it says shared marital identity. Shared marital identity. So that means you have ideas on what marriage means or it looks like for you and your family. My family, my last name is Al-Mujahid. So now this is the Al-Mujahid shared identity. Here's the challenge though. Unless you know what that means, the whole concept means, where you sit and you talk about the ideas and what marriage means to you, what things are important for you, what are deal breakers, how to handle challenges, how to handle disputes, how you argue, how you were raised, and what things look like in your household when it comes to both parents being there. Maybe one parent wasn't, maybe you adopted. No matter what your situations are, you bring that stuff with you as part of your individual identity. However, it's a small part or big, depending on how much baggage you bring, if you will, to that shared marital identity. Now, keep in mind, if you're looking at this diagram, you'll notice that in this 3rd sphere, the shared marital identity, there's 2 little carved out parts. And it says husband's identity, because now this person went from being a single man, to now a married husband. Again, this is monogamy. The woman goes from woman's individual identity to being a wife's identity. And there are specific roles and ideas and concepts and theories that we all have. Whether that's gender roles, whether that's sharing in different things, whatever it is, and putting in the household or whatever we choose it to be, the difference is now I'm this new husband, new wife. So that's that identity, but then there's also the shared marital identity. Here's the other part. You'll notice still in this same diagram, you still have the woman's individual identity and the man's individual identity. See, we are still our own individual beings with our likes, dislikes, and everything. The difference is now we put on another hat or another important role in our lives, where now I went from being a single man to being a husband. So I have responsibility, a loyalty, everything to my family. And my wife does as well. But if you're not communicating or trying to understand where you come from, how you've grown, how you form certain beliefs, then you're going to have some issues. Now, I'm going to tell you where your issues are going to come in when it comes to polygyny.
Pardon the interruption. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that you could thrive better in the community that's more supportive? Now, I already know the answer to that. But did you know that Outstanding Personal Relationships actually has a community that is supportive and where we really hang out a lot? It has a number of areas and things like, for example, I deal with the men in the Kings and Men section where we discuss a number of different men issues, whether it's polygyny related, parenting related, whatever it may be. This is where we communicate and connect.
And as an introvert, I love the idea of an online community. So we have that. And to be able to speak with like-minded people, speak with other wives, wives, whether you're an incoming wife, whether you're a first wife, you're a wife, period, in general, you only practicing monogamy, whatever the case may be, to be able to be in a community with people who understand what you're going through, understand any type of issues you have, and also being in a place where you have support from others, where it's not all over social media for everybody else to see.
Yes, and it is a safe space. So if you guys want to see us or if you want to connect with us, come to our community.
Indeed. And like they said, it's private. All right. So you don't have to worry about your stuff being all over the place or all on social media, trying to find the comments and go scroll. We have the subjects. We have all this type of stuff. Just go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. Look on the top of the page. Click on community. We look forward to seeing you there. Back to the video.
You have a shared marital identity. The man is going to be the one who makes the decision when it comes to polygyny. You may talk about it, discuss it, which is best practice. We encourage you to do so before you are ever married. If it's ever on your mind. Now, here's the challenge. When you're a single man, especially if you're a young single man, never been married, you're not thinking about it at all. You want to get solid with one. You have no idea how that's going to be. So you may not be thinking about polygyny at all. But as you grow and as you evolve, guess what? That might need to become part of your discussions. All right, as possibly being a reality. Minimally, the reason I want you to discuss polygyny in particular is because you need to know who you married. You need to know what they had as part of their individual identity that is now part of their shared marital identity. Because one of the challenges, and I talk to brothers all the time, say, you know what? I want to get married. I know a sister that wants to get married, whatever the situation may be. And they're like, hey, bro, should I go about it like this or like this? I'm like, listen, man, you need to first talk to your wife. Talk to your wife. Whether you're talking about polygyny or not, I'm letting you know right now, if you're single, when the time comes for sitting down or courting or whatnot, you need to talk about polygyny. Whether it's your intention or not, because you need to know where the other person stands, why they feel a certain way, why you feel a certain way, how you go about it should it ever come, being able to have the discussion. And the reason why is because you're married to this person. You should be able to speak to them about anything. There should be nothing off limits. If there's something off limits, then that means you don't have the connection that you thought you had. Inside your shared marital identity, when you think, this is my best friend, I can talk to him about anything. It's not a reality if you can't talk about it. If you're not responsible enough to bring the conversation up as a man, if you're not responsible enough as a woman, as a wife, to bring it up, to at least have the conversation, to listen, even if you're writhing in jealousy or uncertainty and chaos on the inside, this person is supposed to be the closest person to you. As a man, you have to be able to demonstrate that courage. If you do not have in your shared identity that this person is your best friend that you are married to, and that there are expectations that you should be able to have and seek out, if you're not able to speak about polygyny in particular, that is a problem. Now, I know why it is from the men's side in general, because you know what? I'm married to this person. I love this person. You may have children with it and all that. This is like the number one person in the world you want to provide for, you want to protect and all of this kind of stuff. And you don't want her to feel hurt or feel jealous or feel any type of pain. So it's like, I don't want to really have that conversation. She's going to think I'm doing this or I want to do that. Or, she might feel that she's not enough or she's not worth, or she start questioning herself. But that's not even the issue. So I know from that perspective. And the same from the other side. The other side is like, oh, now you want somebody else. Now I'm good. I do all this type of stuff. And now you want to marry again. I understand those things. But being able to have the conversation is base level for a good, healthy relationship. Now, it's part of your shared marital identity. Women, I understand what you mean when you say, oh, you feel betrayed. Your husband went and married behind your back, or you didn't know he was going to practice polygyny, and then later he brought it to you. They didn't want to practice polygyny. Now you feel betrayed, or you don't know, and you don't know who you married. I know why you say that. Because in your shared marital identity, you have the idea and understanding, which is a good understanding to have, that you should be able to communicate with your spouse about anything. Should things change or they evolve, you'll be able to communicate about this stuff. But you see how hard it is when it's about a topic that you may not want to hear about, and at the same time, he doesn't want to hurt you? I can understand the feeling of betrayal. All right, because it's a feeling. You may be applying it in a way that where it's not really betrayal, but you felt that way because you thought in this shared marital identity, you always see eye to eye. This person will come to you and say something. So I understand now. I Coach Fatimah. Now my mind as a man at the time, I didn't understand it, but I understand it now when Coach Fatimah said, I felt betrayed and this and that, and I had to try to process these things. Yeah, you know why? Because we had a shared marital identity that was not defined.